How are you?
Good.
The quick game, what do you think, as far as the problems you guys had defensively, why do you think they came, and did they come from the quick game?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors in it, and it starts with me. I got to prepare our guys better and put our guys in better positions to make some plays on those things. And then when I do that and keep shifting the calls and moving them around, putting our guys in good spots so they can challenge those at the point of attack. And credit to them, they did a good job of getting that ball out fast on us.
You guys have been decent when it comes to the sudden change, and you guys have had to go around the field. Like, what do you attribute to that ability to basically shut down offenses at times?
Yeah, I think I attribute to our guys and their mentality. The coaches and players, we talk about that a lot. It's a kind of mindset that we want to take the field in, and we're trying to defend every blade of grass that we get a chance to defend. And our guys have really taken ownership of that, and they've done a great job, I think, in sun change situations.
What did you see from Kevin Byard in his first game? And I mean, it seemed like he was pretty accountable afterwards, and then also his impact on the other guys in that room.
Yeah, he's been such a great leader. He's kind of stepping in and really taking ownership of a lot of things and really putting the time in to work and learn the defense and do all the stuff that you would expect a pro to do, and he's been the consummate pro, and so he's been tremendous. And he had a good game. He's solid, and I got to do a better job putting him in some different spots and helping him, and he'll continue to get better. And that's the great part about this is we're into week 9 here, and we're still growing. We're still not a final product, and I think that's an exciting part that we keep climbing each week.
Sean, you're rotating guys up front. Obviously, you're rotating linebackers, rotating slots. You got a lot of moving pieces. Is it ever a concern that, I guess the communication aspect of it, that with a lot of rotating, it really puts a strain on that? Do you ever think about narrowing down the rotation, or what do you like about it?
Yeah, no, I think some of it's a function of what we want to do, and so we hold our guys to the same standard, and there's always a concern whether we're rotating or not in terms of communication. That's always a big thing of defensive football, is to make sure we're aligned and assignment sound, and then from a coordinator perspective, we give them a plan that they feel strong about, that they can communicate in the time that they're given on the field. It's a matter of seconds that they got to see a formation, get the huddle call, get their assignment, alignment, and technique down, and then get all the tips that we're giving them, and then process, and then go execute. And so we got to make sure that, and I got to make sure that we streamline that stuff for all of our guys. And so I don't think it's a function of the rotation as much as, we got to do a good job. I got to do a good job of game planning and putting our guys in good positions.
Is the goal to eventually settle in at those positions and have a group, or do you foresee this being like something the rest of the season?
No, I think the more continuity you have is always better. I think that calms a lot of guys down. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, like we have a philosophy, which is a good philosophy, and that part of it, in terms of the front, will not change. That we want to send guys in waves, and we want to be the fresher team in the fourth quarter of games and in the fourth quarter of the season. And so we'll continue down that road. And then, it's about really everybody that's getting a chance to go play is to take advantage of those opportunities. And our guys have. Our guys have done a good job in helping us get to the point that we're at right now.
It seemed like Nakobe coming into this season was expected to be an every down player. Now that he's back from that injury, why is he not?
Why is he not an every down player? Well, I think he is. I think the snap count thing can be a little bit deceiving, and then when we're rotating guys, because there's a function of who our depth is and matchups and things like that we want to create. And it's the same at that position, at the linebacker position, where we got 3 guys that have played really good football for us. And so we want to get everybody healthy through the season. And we're in this thing for the long haul, and we want to manage that. And we haven't really had a drop-off in performance regardless of who's in. So we feel confident anyway that we put out there.
On the flip side of that continuity you were talking about, Sidney, as a young player, 1 week he's at safety, 1 week he's in slot. How much has he impressed you to just be able to handle that from his experience level?
Yeah, it's always impressive. I think it's a hard layer for young guys to handle, and it shows the maturity that he's been able to take on, the responsibility he's been able to take on, and it shows the credit to our coaches to be able to prepare and train these guys at that. And he's just one example. We've had quite a few of those guys that have had to be able to do that, and they're doing the best they can. They're giving everything they can every single week, and we're proud of that. And will the execution get better? Yeah, and that's going to start with me with the play calling. That's going to get better too, and we'll keep growing that way. And I think it's just going to help everybody. It's like we talk to our guys about it all the time. It's like putting money in the bank, because we're all going to have to pull from that bank at some point. And in different roles, in different environments, in different situations, and we'll be the best prepared team to do that.
Sean, there's no... that you've had some continuity in, at least recently, is on the outside with Bradbury and Slay. What role did they play that we might not be able to see on the field in trying to just keep the defense gel together? Yeah,
they've been great. I mean, they're just such tremendous leaders. You know, they've been around a lot of football, and they've been around some different defenses and some different structures, and they've taken a lot of ownership in our defense here and making it their own, and they understand the communication layers that we require, and then they're taking some ownership in doing that stuff as well, which is great for them, and that's kind of what we need. You know, we need to rely on some of those guys to help ease some of the young guys that are learning a lot of different things. And so they've been great with that.
Sorry about that. No shortage of good wide receivers that you guys have faced, but what makes CeeDee Lamb stand out when you watch him?
I mean, everything. I mean, he's big, he's physical, he's fast, he's got a big catch radius, he can win underneath, he can win after the catch on short throws, you know, in the quick game, and make you miss in space, and then he can go up and go catch a contested ball. So he's a really good all-around receiver.
What have you seen from Dak this year? I mean, he's been doing it a long time, high level.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what he's been in terms of a bulk of his career, in terms of he's operating at such a highly efficient rate right now, getting the ball out fast. He's really decisive with where he wants to go with the ball, and he's accurate. You know, he's throwing the ball on point to where the offensive structure is asking him to throw the ball, and so he's doing a good job. And then the one thing you can't ever sleep on him, and we learned this a long time ago, and you guys have seen it way more than me, but his legs. You know, he can still make plays and create plays from a scramble position as a thrower and a runner. And so, you know, he's playing at a high level.
I think you guys have used like 7 or 8 different guys at nickel. Just kind of like how difficult has that been to find continuity there? And obviously injuries are a factor and everything, but just what that's been like.
Yeah, no, I mean, anytime you get injuries, there's always a challenge. You know, the challenge obviously from a coaching staff perspective is to make sure our guys are prepared and equipped well enough with whatever we need them to go into the game plan with. And then the challenge from a player perspective is to process that and manage that. And I think the players have done a great job with all the guys that we've put in there, and they've really done their best to master the roles and the techniques that we're asking them for each game plan. And then our coaching staff has done a great job. You know, obviously, Coach McDonald and Taver Johnson and Ronell Williams, you know, in particular with the nickels, have taken extra time and creating that time to meet with these guys and give them some extra tips and tendencies and techniques, because it all goes back to the techniques and fundamentals, and that's something that we got to do a good job as a staff of keep teaching and zoning in on those.
Sean,
I know
I
you
think
asked
Kevin...
about Eli a good amount the last few weeks, but I guess what behind the scenes has he done to earn your trust, and then, you know, in the games, I guess, to continue, you know, having that role on third downs?
Yeah, you know, I think he's been humble. You know, he prepares like a pro, and he's learning, and he's like a sponge. You know, he just wants more and more information, and he's trying to take on all these roles and learn so many different things. And then he goes out there and competes. You know, when he was not up and he was on the practice squad and playing out there, you know, he's competing in those reps. And so that's kind of how you get noticed and you get elevated. And in the meeting room, he's prepared. And then when you get your chance, you make the best of it. And he's done a good job of that.
Nick mentioned that he's got those like scout team reps against AJ each week on the radio this morning. I guess, do you kind of like have to sneak a peek at him doing those, like see how he performs against AJ in practice?
Oh yeah, I mean we watch it all. You know, so we watch our scout team guys, because I mean if you're getting developed against our offense, that's pretty good. You know, it's pretty good reps that you get and at all levels of the defense. So yeah, we watch those guys, and our coaches watch it with them and give them their coaching points and everything off that too. So it's part of that whole process for us.
As you had Kevin midstream here, the issues with communication and positioning in the secondary, how do you expedite that rapport? Yeah, and you know, I wouldn't say there's issues there. I think it's just it's learning. You know, it's part of the learning process. You know, you're learning a defense, and he's coming in here and learning it, and he's such a pro that he's been around a lot of defenses. So for him, it's more like a translation key. You know, like, okay, this is what I used to call this technique or this tool or this coverage, and here's what we call it here, and here's how I got to communicate it. And he really did an outstanding job last week with the time that we had with him, and taking that ownership on his own shoulders to go out and play the game that he played. So that'll just continue to get better.
Sean, with the deadline today, how would you characterize your relationship and the communication level with Howie, and you know, making sure that he best supports you with personnel, all that.
How would I characterize my relationship with him? I mean, it's outstanding. I mean, he's such a great resource and a confidant, mentor. He serves all those roles for me, and you can't ask for a better GM head coach combination for a person to work for with Nick and Howie there, and I think they've been great.
With Contavious being traded yesterday, is this something where his snaps gets redistributed back to the guys who are normally in the rotations? Is an opportunity for more to step up?
I think we're going to go through that today as we go through the game plan and we figure out kind of what we need for this week in terms of depth and roster-wise, and we'll sit down as a staff and we'll go through that. But at the end of the day, we're still going to roll guys, and you guys have seen it. If we got guys up, we're going to play them, and we're going to find roles for them and try to get them into the game. And so Morrow, if it's his turn, then he'll be a great addition for that.
Hey, Sean, that quick score by Washington late, what was kind of the learning point?
Oh my God, that one. Gosh, man, that's 2 times they got me on that one. It's poor by me. I got to do a better job putting our guys in position to execute in those situations, and we will do a better job of putting those guys in position to execute those situations. We can't do that. That's not the type of brand of football that we want to be known about. That's not the type of product that we want to be putting out there.
With that, one last thing on Contavious, what is that sort of like in a day for you when one of your guys moves? And does Howie, are you a sounding board before, after? How does that sort of work?
Well, the process is the process of how we handle it. But, I mean, in terms of, I'll speak on, like, the first part of that question of what it's like for me. I mean, it's an emotional day, I mean, that's hard. You invest in guys and you build relationships with them, and they are great. Street is such an outstanding human being that, they understand the aspect of it. And it's never anything personal, and Howie and their staff do a great job with that. But we had an opportunity to meet with him, and, he kind of understood. And with all the guys that I've coached, I always leave them as a resource. If they ever need me for anything, they can always call me. My phone's always open for them, and I think, he'll do an outstanding job over there.
A couple more, please.
If I could ask you another safety type question. So obviously, you had Reed back, along with Kevin. It seems like that position is at least stabilized. What did you think the way Reed played? I know he was kind of down on himself for a while, and then he made the interception, coming back from the injury and everything.
I thought he was solid. I thought it was up and down, and I think he would tell you the same. But that was really a function of me and our defense. We were a little bit up and down, and we kind of put it together there in the second half and put together a bunch of good drives there until the drive you brought up over there. That really messed that part of it up in the second half. But, the thing that I think probably he's not taking enough credit for, and that I think we got to really shine some light on him, is through the up and down and through the adversity, not just for him, but as a defense, when it was his time to go make a play, he went and made a play for us. And that was a big play in the game, and that's what we want. We want guys that can still have the mental toughness and the wherewithal to grind out through a game like that. I mean, these games are not going to all be, pretty. And winning is the ultimate thing that matters, and he really contributed to us and helped us win that game.
Why do you think Hassan has kind of turned into this closer for you guys?
Again, I don't know what he's turned into. I think I just know the mentality that he's had. And I think, like I said, a lot of those guys up front, they want to have that mentality that when it's time to go, they want to go. And that was a game there where it was frustrating on a lot of levels, where they were getting the ball out so quick. And then when we had a chance to put our guys in some positions to go make some plays, and, he was one of them that did a great job. And we had a lot of other pressures that kind of didn't maybe show up on the sacks sheet, but, we impacted the guy a little bit there, and, we'll continue to get better there. So I think Hassan's done a great job of embracing that role.
Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, guys.